Another day, another set of revelations circling around the Hunter Biden scandal, but it's really the Biden family scandal and, frankly, the Biden administration scandal, as well as the cover-up and obstruction of justice scandal at the Justice Department. Let's bring in a man who has been covering the Biden family corruption for literally a decade. Peter Schweizer, president of the Government Accountability Institute and author of Red-Handed, How American Elites Get Rich Helping China Win. Peter, thank you for joining us tonight.
Always good to be with you, Larry. Thanks.
Now, yesterday's revelation was that in open court during that debacle of a plea negotiation this week, Hunter Biden admitted that he had made upwards to $650,000 through a partnership with a Chinese businessman. This flies directly in the face of his father's insistence during the 2020 campaign that their family didn't make any money from China. But you're not surprised. In fact, it's a lot more than just a couple $100,000, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right, Larry. I mean, this shows that there's a very big difference between the Bidens talking at a political event or to the American people and actually making statements in court under oath. So, yeah, this is another domino that's fallen as far as what the Biden narrative has been. They began by saying there were no deals. Then they said that they made no money from those deals. Then they said Joe didn't know anything about those deals. Now they're simply saying Joe was not a business partner with Hunter. And I think that domino is going to fall as well. It is shocking to me that the media is not more aggressive about this because this administration has not been candid at all about this issue.
By the way, it's critically important. I know that everyone says, oh, it's just a political gotcha and he was just lying. But the lie about making money from China is critically important in a couple of different ways, I think, Peter. The first is he lied about it because he knew that the truth was damaging, that it was wrong, right? Number one, why else lie about it? But secondly, they can't get away with just saying, well, he's just a businessman who happens to be Chinese, because any businessman who's doing business at that level here in the States, they're directly linked to the government of China, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. And this the energy company executive in this particular case, who, according to the laptop, sent some $6 million to Hunter Biden. His previous job was running an organization that was a front for Chinese military intelligence. Everybody that's an expert on the subject says that. So, yeah, these are not just ordinary businessmen. These are not even just CCP businessmen. Each and every one of the individuals who did business deals with Hunter Biden has ties to the highest levels of Chinese intelligence. So this is not just corruption. This is a national security, potentially a spying story as well.
Yeah, it's not doing business with a Chinese person. It's doing business with an agent of the Chinese government. But it wasn't exclusive to China, of course. Your reporting shows that it's all over Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, and now yesterday's revelation. An email shows that Hunter Biden was trying to solicit a $2 million a year honorarium from interests in Libya. Now, what exactly was he going to do for these Libyan agents?
Well, he was basically going to set the Libyans up, function as an agent. And this involved, of course, Libya has a massive oil business. And they also have challenges involving assets in the West. And Hunter was going to help them with that. And again, this just underlines the point, Larry. If you are somebody who's engaging in a legitimate business, you're going to places like Great Britain and Tokyo. You know, every place the Biden's gone, it's a veritable United Nations of corruption. It's China, right. It's Russia, Ukraine, Romania, and now you add Libya to it. Yeah. These are all highly corrupt political entities, and this is where Hunter Biden was zeroing in his business.
And by the way, my understanding of that email that he wrote to the Libyan interests was to help them free up assets that were being held by the U.S. government during the Obama administration. So this leads us to the other revelation, and that is that there is, in fact, the potential for charges under the FARA Act. That's for a Foreign Agent Reporting Act. If you're operating on behalf of a foreign country, you're supposed to report that, and clearly Hunter Biden is doing that. But Peter, the real important part of that is if you're a foreign country and you're hiring Hunter Biden to get you benefits from the U.S. government, that leads right to the Oval Office. The only reason you hire Hunter Biden is because of his last name. That drags Joe right into the middle of this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What is the target of hiring Hunter Biden to influence decision makers? It's his father. And look, there are lots of people. You can go to the Department of Justice website and look at all the people that have been charged with FARA violations that are in jail. People like Paul Manafort, and there are many others. What Hunter Biden did, if you look at what he did, is far more extensive than what these individuals did. So, in my mind, there's no question he should be charged with a FARA violation. But beyond that issue, we need to have a broader discussion about the issue of compromise with the Bidens as it involves these foreign deals. You have the China element. Let's also remember that 1023 document from the FBI about bribery involving allegedly $10 million going to the Bidens. If you read that document, Larry, one of the people that was present during those conversations was an individual who was an aide to President Zelensky of Ukraine. If that conversation actually took place, does anybody believe that that aide did not go and tell President Zelensky that the head of Burisma had allegedly bribed the Bidens? So these are the problems. When you engage in corrupt behavior, you create vulnerabilities that affects your decision-making and policy-making ability. And there's no question when it comes to China and Ukraine, I think that's what we have with the Bidens.
In other words, President Zelensky, if that's true, obviously has very damaging information, if not outright compromise on Joe Biden, which would also explain Joe Biden's insistence that we open up the national treasury to Ukraine without any questions asked. Peter, I've been reading a lot of the work you've been doing on this of the last couple of weeks, and you seem to suggest that Joe Biden is in much bigger trouble here going down this path than the media is even reporting on right now. What do you think is the next shoe to drop? Could it involve that telephone we've learned that Hunter Biden purchased for Joe to use personally?
Yes, I think it involves that telephone. I think it also involves the Hunter Biden business partners. They've continued to insist that no, it's all hearsay. Joe Biden had no role here. They've slightly switched their language from saying Joe Biden had no knowledge to Joe Biden was not a business partner with his son. But I think what we're going to find with these business partners over the next couple of weeks, that Joe Biden was an integral part of this a business venture, and I'll put business in quotation marks.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very hard for Democrats, I think, to just counter that and dismiss that.
Peter Schweizer, like our next guest on the program tonight, Liz Wheeler, you're both in town speaking to a group of young college patriots with Young America's Foundation. And I'm curious, when you raise these issues, when you talk about what's going on, not just with the Biden family, but writ large, how many members, many elected officials of both parties are working with foreign countries and just not acting in the ethical and upright manner that we would want our elected officials in our government to work. How are young people taking this? Are they saying sort of a pox on both their houses? Are they turning off from politics? Or are they getting energized to actually do something about it?
Well, I certainly hope I energize them. What I tell everybody is, I come and generally depress people with my reporting.
Right.
But the key ingredient here, Larry, is you can't give up. That's what corrupt people want. They want ordinary Americans who care about their country to throw up their hands and give up. And what I reminded them is if you look throughout history, during the era of Nazi Germany, during the Cold War under the Soviet Union, during the American Revolution, those that were fighting for truth and freedom were always outnumbered. There were more people collaborating with the French Vichy government than there were fighting with the resistance. In the American Revolution, basically 1/3 were pro-Britain, 1/3 were pro-independence, and 1/3 were sitting on the sidelines. So you're always outnumbered, but don't get discouraged. You've got to keep fighting, or the other side is going to win.
Well, this is a great point that I want to finish on. Those who were involved in this corruption, they want it to seem overwhelming. They want us to feel like it's so big and so impossible to fix that we don't even try. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that it's beyond our power. They're too powerful. They're too juiced in. There's nothing we can do. And what I would remind people, Larry, is the reason this whole Biden thing started is back in 2018, a band of my researchers and I stumbled across these deals that Hunter Biden had in China, stumbled across the stuff involving Burisma and the extent of it in Ukraine. It happened in Tallahassee, Florida, and then citizens and reporters and people like you around the country started reporting on it and stuck on it.
Yep.
And we are now in a situation today where Congress is holding hearings, investigating. We may even have an impeachment inquiry because of what was started by regular citizens who are concerned about their country. So you cannot give in.
Peter Schweizer and his team, they were on it before it was cool and before there was a laptop. Thank you, Peter. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.